This video is an introduction to ORCID, or Open Researcher and Contributor ID. If you have any questions about ORCID, I encourage you to reach out to one of the librarians at the Cleveland Health Sciences Library by emailing us at askchsl@case.edu. This video will cover the basics of ORCID, why it could be beneficial to you, how to sign up, and it will address common questions about ORCID along the way. ORCID is an independent nonprofit organization that provides researchers with a free ORCID ID, which is a persistent identifier or a 16-digit number that is unique to you and distinguishes you from other researchers, especially those with the same or a similar name. Connected to your unique ID, ORCID offers an online public profile where you can link your research output and activities. This profile is persistent, meaning you can use it throughout your career even if you leave your current institution. When you maintain your ORCID profile, you are also helping your institution track research output at the institutional level. To view an example ORCID profile, I encourage you to pause this video and open this profile. You can scan the QR code, which is not part of the profile, or open the link to the profile in the description below. There are many benefits to having an ORCID ID and profile, including your unique ID differentiates you from other researchers. You are able to control your profile data, including the visibility of most items in the profile. You can easily manage changes to your name, institutional affiliation, location, or area of focus throughout your entire career. And your ORCID profile is easy to share with a profile link. It can also help you save time by enabling the autofill form on a variety of research-related websites. Many funders and publishers, including the NIH, AHRQ, the CDC, and the NSF, now require researchers to supply an ORCID ID. So when you log into these websites, you can often log in using your ORCID ID information and automatically complete some forms on those sites. When you add record items to your ORCID CV, those can be validated by a trusted ORCID member organization, like one of the publishers or funders I mentioned previously. This ensures that information about authors is trusted and accurate. There is also an option to manually add self-asserted content. So, what can you add to your profile? You can easily add anything you might want to add to a normal professional or academic CV. The content you can add includes but is not limited to grants awarded, published articles, datasets, peer review work, presentations, and memberships in professional associations and organizations. To sign up for the first time, you will go to the ORCID website at orcid.org and click Sign In/register. Select the Sign In through your institution button below the sign-in box. Search and select your institution. For those of you affiliated with CASE, you'll select Case Western Reserve University. For those of you who already have an ORCID ID, sign into your ORCID account to link it to your Case Western Reserve University account. If you do not have an ORCID ID, use the Register Now button below the sign-in boxes to create your account. Once you set up your profile, you can begin adding content to your profile and adjust visibility settings of items based on your preferences. If you have multiple institutional affiliations, you can go to your account settings under Alternate Sign-in Accounts. Add your other institutional affiliations using those unique email addresses. ORCID strongly recommends adding at least one backup email address so you can recover access to your ORCID record in case you lose access to another email. If you're not sure if you already have an ORCID ID, you can open the register link and start to fill out the form with the likely email address that you would have used. Or you can go to the search box in the upper right corner where it says Search the ORCID Registry and search for yourself to find out. If you have multiple ORCID records, ORCID asks all users to remove any duplicate ORCID IDs in order to avoid future confusion and ambiguity. So ultimately, you will want to only have one ORCID 16-digit number. In this case, you will need to determine which record to keep and copy over any information from the ORCID profile that you plan to delete over to the profile you intend to keep. After you are finished transferring information to the profile you'd like to keep, you will want to follow ORCID's directions to remove a duplicate record. ORCID partners with a variety of funders, publishers, and research-related platforms, including Web of Science. You can now get credit for your service as a peer reviewer by adding peer reviews you've completed in the Web of Science Reviewer Recognition Service. You can grant Web of Science permission to keep your ORCID record updated automatically with your peer review history. To connect the two together, you will use your ORCID ID when you register a Web of Science account, or if you already have a Web of Science account, you can connect it within your Web of Science account settings. Once set up, every verified review added to your Web of Science record will automatically be exported to your ORCID profile with a link back to the record on Web of Science. Web of Science transmits this data securely and makes sure not to compromise reviewer anonymity or infringe on journal policies. You can also add other IDs connecting your ORCID profile with your Scopus author ID or your researcher ID and others. When it's time to submit a manuscript for publication with a journal, many will allow you to log in using your ORCID ID, which will facilitate that automatic connection between the journal's manuscript submission system and ORCID, updating your ORCID account. If you have additional questions about ORCID, there are a couple resources you can explore. One is our library's ORCID guide, which is linked in the description below. The other is ORCID Help Center, which is located on ORCID's website. If you have any additional questions about ORCID, please reach out to the librarians at the Cleveland Health Sciences Library at Case Western Reserve University. You can email us at askchsl@case.edu.